Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Lex's Budget Bunker Build. So this episode is going to be a little bit different in that so normally I work Wednesday through to Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday is my weekend. And normally I do work on the bunker on a Monday, and then come Tuesday or sort of Monday evening I start doing the editing of the footage. And then I do other chores on a Tuesday, and then Tuesday sort of afternoon I finish off the footage and early evening, and then get it loaded up sort of around 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening on a Tuesday, New Zealand time. And that's what I've been doing for the last year. This week, unfortunately, I'm working a 6-day week, so Monday, instead of having the day off, I've actually got to do a hazardous substances course at work. So it's an all-day course. I've done this course. Okay guys, I've got to get these bags down into the bottom of the bunker, and I might use the elevator for that. Get it almost down to the, with that false floor I got in, won't be much of a drop. I'll just drop it off the edge there onto the false floor, should be alright. It'll be a lot easier than trying to, what I did with the pea gravel is I emptied it into a bucket, 20-litre bucket, and lowered it down. This is going to be a lot easier. Just going to make sure I don't fall through the gap. These probably weigh about, probably a bit less than 20 kg each, so you notice I sort of kind of careful to cut the very top of the bag. That's because I use these bags. I find a purpose for them. So if I just slice it open, it's good for nothing. But if I cut it at the top, I can use it as a bag for something. And it's amazing how many of these I've used. This stuff's super fine. Apparently it's the go. It's I think what I'll do is, once I've got it down, is I'll wet it, and then I'll wet it, and then I'll smash it down. I'll bring down a actually I'll make up a little tamper with a piece of wood onto like a club hammer or a small sledgehammer, and then just compress it down, compact it down, and then I think that should make a really firm base. I mean, it says this is what this is used for, so for under pavers, cobbles, slabs, drainage pipes, water tanks, or anywhere a hard sub-base is required. I think the trick is, if I compact it down, that'll be the main, most important thing, so it doesn't move. It's like a kitty litter, isn't it? This is your budget toilet right here. Just dig a little hole, do your business and cover it up. I actually saw, I don't like to judge everybody to their own, but and to be honest, I'm not sure if this person was maybe just having a super troll of everybody, but they had some sort of eco idea with their house, and rather than the toilet, they actually had this set up in their living room, something like this. It was crazy, and you had a little flag, so when you did your business, you stuck a little flag there so that nobody would accidentally dig up your deposit. And then she had a little donation jar. You can see made a donation. I don't know what that was for. Maybe it's to pay for the next batch of litter. Yeah, I would predict that woman probably didn't get a great deal of visitors, to be honest, because I don't think many people would be wanting to put up with that. It's a bit out there. Guys, I'm not sure if I've explained what this is, but when I've got to cut a number of lengths of rebar to the same length, and it can be sort of like near enough, like not within with an accuracy of probably 10 mil, I've made up this little jig. So the screws here kind of hold it from moving around, and there's a hole in this block, so I push the full length rebar in there, and then just drop it down into there, and it gives a nice stable platform for cutting the rebar. And I judge it basically sort of like 10-15 mil from this end. That's the total length of what I want. It means I can very quickly cut lengths of rebar without having to like put it in the vise and in and out of the vise and that sort of thing. And I can adjust the length just by moving this up and down this piece of wood. So yeah, it's pretty rough, but I tell you what, it does help. Really speeds up the cutting process. And as I say, from a near enough point of view, it's close enough for what I'm doing. Well guys, ever since I started this project and I did my first bit of welding, guys have been nagging me, or some of you at least have been nagging me about my shitty welding mask. Whoops, taxi, which I have to hold up, and it's an awkward thing. It's cheap as chips. This actually came with the welder, so I keep getting tired of getting auto darkening one. And you know what? You're absolutely 100% right. I should get one, and I've got one. So here we are, brand new welding mask. So that's one bit of nagging that can stop. Here she is, pretty flash. I've never used any. Oh, look at that! It's got electrics and stuff inside of it. Okay, I'm gonna have to learn how to use it first, but this is pretty high tech. But anyway, I'll read up on the manual and give this a test drive. I'll tell you one thing, it's really light, which is going to be nice. And yeah, it should be a lot safer and easier to use. So thanks for the nagging, because it has motivated me to get something decent. I guess I just get used to using what what you've always used, and I think that's going to save me a lot of time and make a lot of things a lot easier. So I'll bring you back when I've had a read of the manual and got it set up. Well guys, to everybody that has over the last sort of year and a bit that has suggested to me that I should be getting a auto darkening welding helmet, I owe you all a very big thank you. I've never used one of these before, and probably without that prompting I probably would have carried on doing the whole project with this huckery old thing. Honestly, it's just amazing. I'm lost for words. It's so much easier. Oh, I'll turn this off. Oh, sorry about that noise. Yeah, honestly, it just makes it so much easier. Suddenly I'm all confused because I've got these an extra hand available, which is normally holding the helmet. And took a bit of a leap of faith. I was a bit, I'll be honest, I was a bit nervous because you can see the work and you think, well, I'm just about to flash this, am I going to go blind? But of course this thing reacts in, what does it say here? 10,000th of a second. It changes from being transparent to opaque. So you don't see any flash, you don't notice any flash or anything, which is obviously the way it should be. But having never used one before, I was a little bit nervous about that. But no, she works a beauty. I just can't believe it's just going to be, I don't want to sound cliche, but I think this is a game changer, this thing. It's going to really speed up my welding. It's going to make it safer and easier. So yep, once again, thank you guys. And I say those comments and suggestions, they I'm learning a lot as I go along this project, and it's thanks to you guys. So good job. Anyway, on with the welding. The other thing I bought myself was one of these. It's a welding magnet, I don't know what you call it, but I don't know, clamp maybe, holding place thingy-majib. But this is brilliant. Yeah, so I'll probably get a couple more of these as budget permits, but even just having one is a big help. I actually saw Tornado Dave using these, I think, and also Colin Furze. So yeah, a couple of the big names in the fabrication and bunker building game. And I figured, well, if it's good enough for them, it's certainly good enough for me. And yeah, that's a big help. Okay guys, well I've run out of time, but I didn't film all of this because I was really, for want of a better word, mucking around, I guess, trying to work out how to do it. And yeah, it took a long time. But so I actually, earlier in the week, I actually put in some box in and some rebar down in the the tunnel, and I filmed it and everything, and then I looked at what I'd done and I absolutely hated it. Wasn't happy with it at all. It just didn't look substantial enough. So I pulled all that out. Didn't bother sharing that footage with you. It's just, yeah, it just wasn't up to scratch. But this is, I guess, a prototype. I'll have one of these each side. So this will sit inside, sit on the ground, sit on the, how to explain this? Yeah, it's obviously sitting on top of the base course, and imagine the end of the tunnel entrance is there. So the tunnel entrance actually will be about there, and this is all inside, inside the entrance. I'll put this on here because I'm going to, once I work out the right position, I'm actually going to put this through the wooden shoring that I've got on the end there, so I can bolt that as well, so it'll help support that wooden shoring. And this will all be encased in concrete, obviously. And these are what so once this is all concreted in, the slab, and then the bricks will come down on top of there, and they'll be filled with concrete and so on. And there'll be cross pieces as well between some of the bricks. So sort of double bricks have make more sense when I do it, but some of them will have cross pieces, every second one, and then there'll be this will join on to the next section of the tunnel, so they will be welded on. So essentially the rebar is all going to be one, all joined together. So the floor, the walls and the roof are all going to be welded together and then all covered in concrete, and I think that'll make for a really solid foundations and more. And so the reason I feel like I need to go to such an extent with the rebar is because, so it's one thing I'm building the walls and I'm going to have a ceiling, and that's obviously going to have the load of the clay on top of it, but there's also the side pressure, and if there's a lot of rain gets down there and it gets really heavy and wet, there can be quite a lot of weight coming on the side, and to stop the walls collapsing, imagine if these are the walls, right, and you've got that side pressure coming in, you need it fixed at the bottom so it can't push in, and you need it fixed at the top so it can't push in. And so this rebar system, it's all going to be inside a solid concrete slab with the rebar coming up through the walls and then fixed to the steel roof. So that'll stop any pushing in, any tendency for loading on the side to push the wall in. I mean, even though it's a concrete wall, if it's just sitting there, if it was just sitting on top of, say this was the concrete slab, right, and I just put the walls on top like that, if there's enough weight, they could break free and push in, and if there's not braced at the top, it could collapse in that way. So I think it's really important to have them so that the rebar goes all the way through and it's all solid, and that'll stop that any risk of the sides collapsing in. And then of course you've got all that concrete and rebar holding up the roof. So probably over-engineered, and it's just the way I want to do it. So it's going to take a lot of rebar, a lot of welding. Thank goodness I bought that mask. Again, thank you to everybody that suggested that. That was a really good suggestion. But yeah, so there's going to be one of these each side, and then quite a bit of rebar going across between them, and then that makes it just one big massive construction, basically, because there's going to be what's known as a cold joint, obviously. So the ideal is you rebar the whole thing, box it all up, and pour all the concrete in one go, and then there's no joints in the concrete, but I'm going to have, you know, there's going to be it's known as cold joint about there, and that's not as strong, so that's why I'm compensating with lots and lots of rebar. So hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, but unfortunately I've run out of time after wasting all that time down there. And I feel like I've got a good prototype there, so next week I'll make up another one of those and get them down in the hole and start putting it all together. So thanks for watching, guys, really appreciate it. And I like all your likes and comments, really appreciate it. And of course a shout out to my Patreons and YouTube members. And yeah, look after yourselves out there, guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you next weekend. And this is Lex out.